of Management Studies IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course Mmpc 017 Advanced Strategic Management for MBA program. Presenting Block 2 Corporate Level Growth Strategy, Unit 5 Strategic Alliances, Part 1.
Objectives. After reading this unit, you should be able to explain the concept of strategic alliances, acquaint yourself with the worldwide trends in this area, identify the factors responsible for the rise of strategic alliances, develop an awareness of costs and benefits of alliance arrangements, explain the process of planning successful alliances, and discuss the issue of corporate responsibility of the alliance partners. Introduction. Gallo, the world's largest producer of wine, does not grow a single grape, and likewise Nike, the world's largest producer of athletic footwear, does not manufacture a single shoe. Boeing, the giant aircraft manufacturer, makes little more than cockpits and wing bits. Quinn 1995. How is this possible? These companies, like many other companies, have entered into strategic alliances with their suppliers to do much of their actual production and manufacturing for them. From software to steel, aerospace to apparel, the pace of strategic alliances worldwide is accelerating. Strategic alliances, broadly defined as arrangements in which two organizations conjoin to pursue common interests, are a rapidly growing phenomena in the contemporary business environment. Alliances represent strategic responses to the powerful forces of deregulation, globalization, technological change, and time-to-market concerns. These forces have made the business environment vastly more competitive, complex, and uncertain than ever before. Companies are turning to strategic alliances in order to manage their uncertainty and risk, and specifically to assess a wide range of competencies, technologies, and markets. A strategic alliance is an agreement between firms to do business together in ways that go beyond normal company-to-company dealings but fall short of a merger or a full partnership. Whelan and Hunger 2000. Strategic alliances can be as simple as two companies sharing their technological and/or marketing resources. In contrast, they can be highly complex, involving several companies located in different countries. These firms may in turn be linked with other organizations in separate alliances. The result is a maze of intertwined companies which may be competing with each other in several product areas while collaborating in some. These alliances also range from informal handshake agreements to formal agreements with lengthy contracts in which the parties may also exchange equity or contribute capital to form a joint venture corporation. Much of the discussion in the literature on strategic alliances revolves around alliances between two companies, but there is an increasing trend towards multi-company alliances. For instance, a 6-company strategic alliance was formed between Apple, Sony, Motorola, Philips, AT&T, and Matsushita to form General Magic Corporation to develop telescript communications software. In essence, strategic alliance, a form of corporate partnering, is the joining of two or more companies to exchange resources, share risks, or divide rewards from a joint enterprise. It can take any number of forms, such as a strong relationship with a major customer or partnership with a source of distribution, a relationship with a supplier of innovation or product, or an alliance in pursuit of a common goal. Sometimes partners from a new jointly owned company. In other instances, a firm purchases equity in another. Most often, the relationship is defined by a contract. Many features of strategic alliances are very similar to other forms of partnering. The differences relate to the greater difficulty of achieving a good partnering relationship or developing the strategic nature of an alliance. They are harder to do because of the need to match the expectations of different cultures and business practices. Strategic alliance strengths. Strategic alliances are becoming more and more prominent in the global economy. According to Peter F. Drucker, the management guru, the greatest change in corporate culture and the way business is being conducted is the accelerating growth of relationships based not on ownership but on partnership. Drucker, 1996. He also observed that there is not just a surge in alliances but a worldwide restructuring of companies in the shape of alliances and partnership. His views are endorsed by the fact that even a cursory search for strategic alliances in business dailies produces numerous press releases about companies forming alliances. According to a survey by the global consulting major Booz, Allen and Hamilton, strategic alliances are spreading in every industry and are becoming an essential driver of superior growth. The number of alliances in the world is surging. The survey also reveals that more than 20% of the revenue generated from the top 2,000 US and European companies now comes from alliances, with more predicted in the near future. These same companies also earned higher return on investment ROI and return on equity ROE on their alliances than from their core businesses. The report also concludes that leading edge alliance companies are creating a string of interconnected relationships which allows them to overpower the competition. www.boozillion.com. Generally, two or more companies collaborate to create a new product or a service in a strategic alliance. Ideally, this new product or service will bring a unique value proposition to the market as agreed by the collaborating parties. The potential of strategic alliances strategy is enormous and, if implemented correctly, can dramatically improve an organization's operations and competitiveness. Brusselaria, 1997. According to a survey conducted by Cooper and Lebrun, 54% of firms that formed alliances did so for joint marketing and promotional purposes. Cooper and Lebrun, 1997. Companies are also forming alliances to obtain technology, to gain access to specific markets, to reduce financial risk, to reduce political risk, and to achieve or ensure competitive advantage. Whelan and Hunger, 2000. However, while many organizations often rush to jump on the bandwagon of strategic alliances, few succeed. Sorsak, 1996. The failure rate of strategic alliances strategy is projected to be as high as 70%. Carmack and Russell, 1999. And hence, an appreciation of the factors that contribute to strategic alliance success and failure is critically important. The rest of the unit explores why and how companies are forming strategic alliances, examine risks and problems associated with entering and maintaining successful strategic alliances, and identify factors that may impact the success of strategic alliances in an increasingly competitive marketplace. Important implications for the successful introduction and implementation of strategic alliances are also discussed. Factors promoting the rise of strategic alliances. Since the 1980s, the strategic alliances have been very popular. Alliances can be a powerful tool, particularly in today's world, due to the need to build differential capabilities in more areas than a company has resources or time to develop. The legendary Jack Welch, who headed GE in the past, echoing this sentiment, once said, "If you think you can go it alone in today's global economy, you are highly mistaken. It is becoming more difficult for organizations to remain self-sufficient in an international business environment that demands both focus and flexibility. As companies are increasingly feeling the effects of global competition, they are trying to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage through strategic alliances. Competitive boundaries are blurring as advances in communication, and the trend towards global markets link formerly disparate product, markets, and geographical regions. Competition is no longer confined to a single nation's borders, making all firms vulnerable to threats posed by cooperative strategies. Both rapid technological shifts and the need for rapid product innovation are putting pressure on management to act faster and smarter with fewer resources. Effectively identifying, protecting, and enhancing one's core capabilities is the key challenge of our time. In this environment, successful companies need to select, build, and deploy the critical capabilities that can come from strategic alliances, which will enable them to gain competitive advantage, enhance customer value, and drive their markets. The alliance approach better matches and responds to the uncertainties and complexities of today's globalized business environment. These partnerships allow access to skills and resources of other parties in order to strengthen the organization's competitive strategies. Alliance partnerships are initiated as effective strategies to overcome the skill and resource gaps encountered in gaining access to global markets. Establishing strategic alliance relationships provides access to new markets, accelerates the pace of entry, encourages the sharing of research and development, manufacturing and or marketing costs, broadening the product line or filling product, and learning new skills. Dowling et al. Suggests the partners pool exchange or integrate specified business resources for mutual gain. Yet, the partners remain separate businesses. In today's fast-changing business landscape, strategic alliances enable businesses to gain competitive advantage through access to a partner's resources, including markets, technologies, capital, and people. Teaming up with other adds complementary resources and capabilities, enabling participants to grow and expand more quickly and efficiently. Especially fast-growing companies rely heavily on alliances to extend their technical and operational resources. In the process, they save time and boost productivity by not having to develop their own from scratch. They are thus free to concentrate on innovation and their core business. Many fast-growth technology companies use strategic alliances to benefit from more established channels of distribution, marketing, or brand reputation of bigger, better-known players. However, more traditional business tends to enter alliances for reasons such as geographic expansion, cost reduction, manufacturing, and other supply chain synergies. As global markets open up and competition grows, mid-sized companies need to be increasingly creative about how and with whom they align themselves to go to the market. All these factors have hastened and highlighted the need for strategic alliances. To summarize, few companies have everything they need to succeed in a competitive marketplace alone. No matter what they need, there is someone who has it. They can, therefore, either buy what they need or partner with others. Partnering is frequently quicker and less costly. While avoiding difficult and time-consuming internal changes, partnering allows a company to rapidly move to decisively seize opportunities before they disappear, respond more quickly to change with greater flexibility, increase market share, gain access to a new market or beat others to that market, quickly shore up internal weaknesses, gain a new skill or area of competence, succeed although the company lacks key resources. Types of strategic alliances. Firms can enter into a number of different types of strategic alliances. These could include comparatively simple, more distant arrangements in which firms work with one another on a short term or a contractually defined basis where the two parties effectively do not combine their managers, value chains, core technologies, or other skill sets. Examples of such simpler alliance vehicles include licensing, cross marketing deals, limited forms of outsourcing, and loosely configured customer supply arrangements. On the other hand, companies may seek to partner more closely in their cooperative ventures, combining managers, technologies, product, processes, and other value adding assets in varying ways to bring the companies more closely together. Examples of alliances modes in this league include technology development pacts, co production arrangements, and formal joint ventures in which the partners contribute a defined amount of capital to form a third party entity. Finally, in even more complex strategic alliance arrangements, partners can take significant equity stakeholdings in one another, thus approximating many organizational and strategic characteristics of an outright merger or acquisition. In a study by Coopers and Librand 1997, they identified the following types of alliances and found their clients were engaged in them as follows: joint marketing or promotion 54%, joint selling or distribution 42%, production 26%, design collaboration 23%, technology licensing 22%, research and development contracts 19%, and other outsourcing purposes 19%. Technology associates and alliances. A strategic alliance consulting company lists the following types of alliances: marketing and sales alliances, joint marketing agreements, value added resellers, product and manufacturing alliances, procurement supplier alliances, joint manufacturing, technology and know how alliances, technology development, university or industry joint research. Technology associates and alliances suggests that alliances can be hybrids between these different types. For example, an R&D alliance may be a cross between a product and manufacturing alliance and a technology and know-how alliance, and a collaborative marketing agreement is a cross between a marketing and sales alliance and a product and manufacturing alliance. The important thing to remember is that there are various types of alliances and they may range from simple licensing arrangement, ad hoc alliance, joint operations, joint venture, consortia, distribution, and value chain partnership alliances to more complex hybrid alliances. The simplest form of strategic alliance is a contractual arrangement. Contractual based strategic alliances generally are short term arrangements that are appropriate when a formal management structure is not required. While the specific provisions of the contract will depend upon the business arrangement, the contract should address the duties and responsibilities of each party, confidentiality and non-competition, payment terms, scientific or technical milestones, ownership of intellectual property, remedies for breach, and termination. Examples of contractual strategic alliances are license agreements, marketing, promotion, and distribution agreements, development agreements, and service agreements. The most complex form of strategic alliance is a joint venture. A joint venture involves creating a separate legal entity, generally a corporation, limited liability company, or partnership, through which the business of the alliance is conducted. A joint venture may be appropriate if the parties intend a long-term alliance. The alliance will require a significant commitment of resources by each party. The alliance will require significant interaction between the parties. The alliance will require a separate management structure, or if the business of the alliance may be subject to unique regulatory issues. In addition, a joint venture will be appropriate if the parties expect that the alliance ultimately may be able to function as a separate business that could be sold or taken public. Historically, information technology and life sciences companies have sought minority equity investments from strategic commercial partners. This form of strategic alliance has gained increased popularity in the current economic climate. In many cases, the equity investment will also be accompanied by a contractual arrangement between the parties, such as a license agreement or a distribution agreement. From the company's perspective, an equity investment from a strategic commercial partner may be structured on more favorable terms than those obtained from venture capitalists, and it may increase the company's valuation and enhance the company's ability to secure future rounds of funding. Venture capitalists and underwriters generally view these types of strategic alliances as validating an early stage company's technology and business models. In some cases, they have even become a condition to an underwriter taking a life science company public. The strategic commercial partner may desire this form of alliance to gain a competitive advantage through access to new technologies and to share in the upside of the other party's business through equity ownership. The following section will focus on three broad types of strategic alliances: licensing arrangements, joint ventures, and cross holding arrangements that include equity stakes and consortia among firms. Each broad type of strategic alliance is implemented differently and imposes its own set of managerial skills, constraints, and coordination requirements needed to build competitive advantage. Licensing arrangements. In most manufacturing industries, licensing represents a sale of technology or product based knowledge in exchange for market entry. In service based firms, licensing is the right to enter a market in exchange for a fee or royalty. Licensing arrangements have become more pronounced across both categories. In many ways, they represent the least sophisticated and simplest form of strategic alliance. Licensing arrangements are simple alliances because they allow the participants greater access to either a technology or market in exchange for royalties or future technology sharing than either partner could do on its own. Within the pharmaceuticals industry, for example, many of the technology sharing arrangements that allow a licensee to produce and sell products developed by the licensor. The relationship between the companies does not go beyond this level. Unlike joint ventures or more complex cross-holding or equity stake consortia, licensing arrangements provide no joint equity ownership in a new entity. Companies enter into licensing agreements for several reasons. The primary reasons are a need for help in commercializing a new technology and global expansion of a brand franchise or marketing image. Nicholas Piramal India Limited and PIL, for instance, has entered into a 5-year in-licensing agreement with Genzym Corp USA for Synvisc viscose supplementation in the Indian market. Synvisc, which is used for the treatment of osteoarthritis of the knee, has sales of $250 million in international market. It expects the market size in India to be about Rs 200 million. Johnson & Johnson is expanding involvement in and commitment to biotechnology through new partnership, licensing agreements, equity investments, and acquisitions. Through its excellence centers such as Centocor and Orthobiotech and its global research, development and marketing operations to form an integrated enterprise that is well positioned to deliver biotechnology's extraordinary promise to patients and physicians around the world. Joint ventures. Joint ventures are more complex and formal than licensing arrangements. Unlike licensing, joint ventures involve partners, creation of a third entity representing the interests and capital of the two partners. Both partners contribute capital, distinctive skills, managers, reporting systems, and technologies to the venture in certain proportions. Joint ventures often entail complex coordination between partners in carrying out value chain activities. Firms enter into joint ventures for 4 reasons. First, seeking vertical integration. Second, needing to learn a partner's skills. Third, upgrading and improving skills. And fourth, shaping future industry evolution. Vertical integration is a critical reason why many firms enter joint ventures. Vertical integration is designed to help firms enlarge the scope of their operations within a single industry. Yet for many firms, expanding their set of activities within the value chain can be an expensive and time-consuming proposition. Joint ventures can help firms achieve the benefits of vertical integration without saddling them with higher fixed costs. This benefit is especially appealing when the core technology used in the industry is changing quickly. Joint ventures can also help firms retain some degree of control over crucial supplies at a time when investment funds are scarce and cannot be allocated to backward integration, or when the company has difficulty in accessing the raw material. By partnering with the suppliers to form a strategic alliance, the firm can increase the stability of its supplies. The organizations forming the alliance will have a common goal and be better integrated. This will ensure that they all have a shared interest in making certain that the alliance is successful, including ensuring the supplies of materials, information, advice, or any other necessary input to the alliance is met in a timely, efficient, and consistent manner. A case in point is the Jindal Stainless Steel Limited JSSL, which plans to source raw material from abroad. The company is planning strategic alliances with companies in South Africa, Southeast Asia, and Europe for long-term supplies of ferrochrome, chrome ore, and nickel. The whole objective of the alliance is to ensure that supplies are managed efficiently with resultant improvements in profitability. A strategic alliance can also rationalize supply chains by selecting integrated suppliers. The number of links in a supply chain can be significantly reduced. Joint ventures are quite common in India. In the highly capital intensive industries such as automobiles, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and petroleum industries, joint ventures are becoming more widespread as firms seek to overcome the high fixed costs required for managing ever more scale intensive production processes. In all these industries, production is highly committed in nature, which means that it is difficult for firms on their own to build sufficient scale and profitability in products that often face highly volatile pricing and deep cyclical downturns when markets collapse. For instance, Telco, now rechristened as Tata Motors, is the leader in the commercial vehicle segment with a 54% market share in light commercial vehicle LCV and 63% market share in medium and heavy commercial vehicle M and HCV 2003 figures. It garnered a market share of 21% in the utility vehicle UV segment and a 9% market share in the passenger car industry in a short span of 3 years. The company is open to alliances but is not willing to enter into any alliance without a strong underlying reason. The view of the top management is that a strategic alliance should bring complementary strengths together. Around 85% of the Indian market consists of small cars, and this trend is expected to continue for the next 10 to 15 years. Tata Indica, which is one of the best and technologically contemporary value propositions available, caters to this segment. Hence, the company is primarily interested in an alliance with a global major who can offer a better proposition in the small car market than the Indica and who already has a presence in India. Second, the company is looking for a strategic alliance to enhance their product portfolio in the more premium or niche segments and to open the overseas markets for them. Firms often enter into joint ventures to learn another firm's distinctive skills or capabilities. In many high technology industries, many years of development are required before a company possesses the proprietary technologies and specialized processes needed to compete effectively on its own. These skills may already be available in a potential partner. A joint venture can help firms learn these new skills without retracing the steps of innovation at great cost. For example, Voltas plans on leveraging its technology sharing alliances with overseas collaborators and in seeking fresh ones for serving the domestic market. In the air conditioning and refrigeration business, Voltas, a new generation of clientele such as multiplexes, shopping malls, entertainment centers, and establishments in the private telecom industry and hospitality. More than mere cooling, these clients seek solutions encompassing controlled environments with clean and pure air and energy efficient systems. The company is well placed to deliver these solutions by leveraging the competencies of its range of partners. For example, the success of the Virtus brand of room and split air conditioners is yet another example of the success of alliances. The Virtus brand features advanced technology from Feathers International Inc., USA, one of the world's largest manufacturers of air conditioners, with whom the company has a manufacturing only joint venture. This alliance has resulted in a brand which has moved from 5th place to 2nd place in the Indian market in the space of 2 years. Joint ventures are instrumental in helping firms with similar skills improve and build upon each other's distinctive competencies. Even though some of these joint ventures are likely to involve rivals competing within the same industry, companies may still benefit from close cooperation in developing an underlying cutting edge technology that could transform the industry. In anticipation of WTO, MNCs are strengthening their ranks in India, either setting up new 100% subsidiaries or marketing tie ups with major domestic players. Large local players are consolidating through brand acquisitions, co marketing, or contract manufacturing tie ups with MNCs, etc. And to counter this threat, Cadila Healthcare Limited CHL, for instance, had formed joint ventures in some of the high growth areas, with CHL bringing to table its strength in manufacturing and marketing and JV partners bringing in the technology. Firms can cooperate in a joint venture to develop and commercialize new technologies that may significantly influence an industry's future direction. The need to maintain industry dynamism and momentum in research is a motivating force that drives drug companies to engage in joint ventures even when they compete in existing product lines. Cross holdings, equity stakes, and consortia. The third category of strategic alliance includes some of the more complex forms of alliance arrangements. These alliances bring together companies more closely than licensing and joint venture mechanism. Broadly amalgamated together as consortia, these alliances represent highly complex and integrate linkages among groups of companies. The term consortia is used to focus on two types of complex alliance evolution. First, multi-partner alliances designed to share an underlying technology, and second, formal groups of companies that own large equity stakes in one another. In either case, consortia represents the most sophisticated form of strategic alliance and involve complex coordination mechanisms that often go beyond the boundaries of individual firms.
You were listening to the audiobook by the School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program. Course code Mmpc 016 International Business Management. Course Coordinator Professor G. Subayama. Voiceover by Chitra. Edited by Ashok Sharma. Program assisted by Tarannum Jahan and Jagbandhu Jana. Program produced by Dr. Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.